Welcome to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We're going to go directly to the phones. We've got Dr. Rollo, Superintendent of the Lubbock ISD, on the phones. Dr. Rollo, how are things going at Lubbock ISD this morning?
Great. Thanks for having me today, Matt. It's good to hear your voice. Hi, Dave.
It's great to have you back on.
Yeah. Oh, Dr.
Happy
Rollo?
Groundhog Day.
That's
We're
right, Groundhog Day.
always,
Six
we're
more
always
weeks
glad
of
to-
winter, according to Phil out there, Puxatawny
Yes.
Phil.
Yeah. Dr. Rollo, we're always glad to have you on the show. You know, we have a lot of parents and grandparents that listen to this show, and they're interested to know what's going on with Lubbock ISD. In fact, Dr. Rollo, what is going on with Lubbock ISD these days?
Well, we have a lot
what's
going
the number
on
one
right now
priority?
in Lubbock ISD. We just named our new school that's under construction right now last week. We will have the Anita Carmona Harrison Elementary School.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about Anita Carmona Harrison? Because I'll be honest, I don't know anything about her.
I would love to. She was a person who actually grew up in that community where the new school is and went all through school in Lubbock ISD, and then she also graduated from Texas Tech University. In fact, she's the first Latina who actually went through Lubbock ISD completely and graduated from Texas Tech University and
Wow.
taught
What
in Lubbock
year was
ISD. Oh my goodness, I don't have the year in front of me, but I believe it was in the 70s when she graduated from Tech, and then taught in Lubbock ISD for many, many years. Retired from Lubbock ISD, but while she was with the district, she helped write our first bilingual curriculum. So she's definitely left a very positive impact in the community and is a wonderful role model for students.
Yeah. And I guess, having her name on there, people will say exactly what I did. What did she do? And it'll give, it'll help get that out there.
Yes, absolutely. We're so excited.
Dr. Rollo, what school was this?
It's a brand new school under construction. It will be finished and ready to start in August. And it is, we are consolidating Jackson, Guadalupe, and Wright elementaries into one brand new school.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was a new school.
Yes, it is a brand new building.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, now, there's a lot going on. I know that there's a new legislative session, and we've talked a little bit about legislative priorities. Sounds like there's going to be a little more money there than they originally thought. Does that change the legislative priorities at all? What are the legislative priorities moving forward for Lubbock ISD?
Well, we actually have four, and our first and foremost and most important was to continue with House Bill 3 funding. And I was very pleased to hear the governor speak last night because that also is a priority for him. That is the most impactful legislation that has been passed to support public schools in decades. And so I'm very pleased to hear that the legislators right now, that is a top priority for them to continue that. We also would like to see charter expansion not happening with the exception of our in-district charters. Again, we want to continue to protect House Bill 5, which was from 2 sessions ago, which allowed us more flexibility with offering certifications and CTE courses to prepare kids for careers and not just college. And then, of course, we are opposed to vouchers, which put public school funds into private schools.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I don't understand much about charter schools. What is a charter school, and what does it do? What does the expansion mean that we're trying to limit?
So, with the exception of in-district charters like our Lubbock Partnership Network, charter schools are state-funded schools that are allowed to open with approval from the commissioner anywhere in the state. They receive public school funding, and they are not under the same regulations that regular school districts are under. In other words, they do not have to hire certified teachers. They actually receive more funding per pupil than school districts do. So it does draw students away from local districts, but they're not under the same accountability that local school districts are.
No.
So,
well, Dr. Rollo, let me ask you this: what about our Have we got the kids back to classes yet?
We have quite a few kids back to class now. We started the year at 30% of our students in virtual learning, and we are down to less than 15% of our students in virtual learning right now.
So can a parent keep their child home if they deem that it would be safer for them and do virtual learning?
So the students who are successful with virtual learning, if they are successful with that, parents may still keep their children at home. But students who are failing one or more classes, or students who have chronic attendance issues with virtual learning, we do now have the flexibility to require that student to return back to face-to-face learning. Now, if there is indeed a medical issue that the family is concerned about, they have to have a signed form from a doctor.
Oh, I got you.
So, Dr. Rollo, one of the things I read on the Texas Tribune is that they are going to be doing this STAR testing, and so I think that was one of the things that we were worried about, is that maybe they were going to cancel it again this year. But apparently they are going to do that. Not only that, they're going to expect the students to do that in person. So how does that work with the distance learning students, and why is it important that it's done in person?
Well, it's very hard for us to ensure that the test is taken appropriately if students are taking it remotely. We have gone through one STAR retesting session since this all began, where students were required to come to school to take the test, and we did have an issue with some students just refusing to come and take it in person. But we will set up a safe place for students who are virtual learners to come to school to take that test, and we will strongly encourage parents to bring their students to take it. We feel like it's very, very important. That data is so useful in helping us determine what individual students need as far as their learning.
Okay, and another thing, I know that when I know that if before COVID that it was a requirement to pass certain STAR tests before you could graduate from high school. Is that going to be true still? I mean, if you're a senior and you haven't passed those sections of the STAR test, do you have to come in and take it and pass it?
We have not heard yet. Last year that was waived. We have not heard yet whether or not that requirement will be waived for this year or not.
So go take it appropriately and just expect there's a possibility.
Yes, right.
Well, Dr. Rollo, hey, let me ask you, is there a priority in getting all the Lubbock ISD personnel, I mean teachers and everybody, vaccinated?
Absolutely. Now, the governor has not released the 1B group. Teachers are part of 1B, but the governor has not said yet that they are a priority in getting the vaccine. That being said, we have offered vaccinations, and we have staffed the vaccination clinic a few times to help ensure that all of our teachers and educators who are 65 and older, and also those who have a comorbidity, have the opportunity to receive that vaccine. So we have been working on ways to help ensure that our people who need it get it. We are hopeful that will be opened up to all school employees in the very near future.
So one more quick question before we take the break. Is Lubbock ISD still needing or in need of substitute teachers?
Yes, we absolutely always need substitute teachers. I will say that need has waned a little bit.
That's good.
Since the holidays, we have not had as many positive cases, and we also have not had as many people who need to quarantine. Our numbers have been much, much lower in that regard, but we always need substitutes. So if you're interested, please apply to substitute with us.
All right. We do have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Dr. Rollo, Superintendent of Lubbock ISD. Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We're going to get right back to the phones with Dr. Rollo, Superintendent of Lubbock ISD. Dr. Rollo, one of the things that I've been wondering, just because Coronado is such, as far as football is concerned, it's a pretty big deal. And y'all are looking for a brand new football coach. How are y'all going about finding that football coach?
Yes, and so we appreciate Coach Parr and the legacy that he left in our athletic programs at Coronado High School.
Yeah, he had one heck of a record, comparatively speaking.
He really did, and we appreciate his service. He is going on to a new opportunity in the Dallas area, so we have posted that position. We have had quite a bit of interest, and so we're excited about that. We have a plan to approve a new coach by the end of February at our February 25th board meeting. We have a large committee who will be interviewing the candidates, and then there'll be a second round of interviews as well.
So interviews haven't even started yet, I'm assuming?
Not yet. The job is posted. It will close this Friday, and then we'll select who will move forward to the first round of interviews on the 8th.
Now, you work with this kind of stuff, so you know better than me. But as far as I can tell, Coronado is one of the upper level jobs that would be available in the high school level. In other words, not moving up to a college, but at a high school level for a football coach. So I would expect to see some pretty good candidates coming out of that.
We have had quite a few applications turned in already, and expect to have some more. A large number of head coaches from throughout the state have already applied, as well as offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. So we'll have a good pool to choose from for sure.
Well, and Lubbock's a great place to live, so if they have to move, it's great.
Absolutely.
So good luck on that. Hopefully, I'm sure y'all will find the right person for that position.
I honestly believe we will. Absolutely.
We did we talk about the AgriSTEM program? It's on our list to talk about today.
We have not talked about that.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the AgriSTEM expansion.
So this is one of the items that was part of our 2018 bond that we passed over 2 years ago now. And this is really the last large bond project to be completed. We have not started construction yet because what we have been doing is meeting with some stakeholders from the agriculture industry to determine what types of programs do we need to include in this AgriSTEM facility to better prepare our students to go into the agriculture workforce. So that group has met and is brainstorming, and we're meeting again next week, I believe, maybe the following week, to bring together ideas of what types of jobs are in the agriculture field that we need to prepare students for. So it's very exciting. We're looking forward to this work, and it'll just provide more opportunities for our students in Lubbock ISD.
So as far as AgriSTEM, I'm assuming STEM means the science, technology, and the STEM program, and then the agri would be the agriculture side. What is the focus of AgriSTEM?
So right now our agricultural programming is predominantly animal science. And so we would be looking at ways to add some other career pathways in agriculture.
Like science, kind of like
yes.
Science-wise?
Yes, that are more science-related. So one of the things we're looking at is preparing students to be vet techs. There's definitely a need for that. With Texas Tech being a huge meat classing, they have a huge meat classing program. And so we would love to be able to offer some programming around that and how to better prepare students for that. We're also talking about ecology and how students can learn to measure soil and make sure that it is ripe for planting crops.
Which is very important.
Yes, there's so much more that we could be doing that we haven't really explored in Lubbock ISD yet. So we're very excited to expand our programming in that area.
Well, hey, Dr. Rollo, we only have a couple of minutes or less. And I just wanted to ask you, how are things going? I want you to look in your crystal ball, and tell us how things are going, and what do you see on the horizon that maybe that concerns you?
Well, honestly, I am excited. Although this year has been extremely challenging, I'm excited that Lubbock ISD has really made a commitment to provide as much normalcy as possible for our students. And so as we move into the rest of this spring and into next school year, if that House Bill 3 funding continues to be in place, we're going to continue to grow as a district and be a district of choice by offering a great number of programs for our students. So I'm excited about the future of this district. I truly am.
So, Dr. Rollo,
one of the things. Let me ask this real quick. One of the things I'm concerned about, because I think I don't know if everyone would agree, but from everything I hear, in some ways, these kids have lost a year of education.
Yes.
And I'm concerned about what happens to them.
Well,
how does a fifth grader move on to the sixth grade and move on to the next level?
We definitely know that we don't like to call it learning gaps. We like to call it unfinished learning. We know that our students do have quite a bit of unfinished learning, especially those, and not all of those, but a good portion of those who are still virtual. We know that there's definitely unfinished learning there. We have plans for summer programming to help provide some intensive instruction for students who have those learning gaps. We know it's going to take us a good deal of time to fill in all of those gaps over the next year and possibly 2 or 3 years. This coronavirus has definitely had an impact.
Okay,
on
Dr.
that.
Rollo, I apologize, but we're out of time, but thank you for coming on.